Good evening, Brian. It's Thursday, and that means it's time for a Thursday Top 5. So today I wanted to talk about my top 5 favorite television shows. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first one I want to talk about is The Office. This is one of my favorite TV shows ever. Lulu and I both started watching it together actually when we were pretty early in our dating. So it probably has some sentimental import for me as well. We used to watch it in her dorm room. We would usually go get a Little Caesars pizza for $5 and then sit on her floor in her dorm room and watch The Office. But I think besides all of the nostalgia, it is definitely just a great show. We have watched pretty much the entire run through a number of times and really enjoy it. One thing that I have to say about The Office though is it's actually based off of a British TV show, and the first season is basically a copy of the first season of the British one, but just with new actors. Because of that, though, the first season is not that great. That's not to say the British one isn't good, because it is, but none of the characters, none of the actors in the American one really get a chance to put their own spin on the characters and really bring it to life because they're basically copying something that was already done in another show. So it doesn't feel organic and it feels weird and it's not as funny, but if you make it through the first season and get into the second season, it really starts to get good. And I really like pretty much the whole run of it, and we watched it all the way through a number of times, and it's definitely one of my favorite TV shows. The next one I want to talk about is Family Guy. Now, Family Guy is definitely kind of dumb and kind of stupid and kind of immature a lot of the time, but it also, it makes me laugh a lot, and I also just like the kind of humor that it has. I like the nerdy references it makes. I like that, you know, Seth MacFarlane is actually a pretty smart guy despite the fact that the show is kind of juvenile and dumb, and he slips a lot of that in there. And I also like just that there's a lot of unique things about the show, and it's just really funny, and it's a good time, and it's entertaining, and sometimes you need some mindless, stupid entertainment. The next one I want to talk about is How I Met Your Mother. This is another sitcom that I also really enjoy. I'm not exactly sure what it is about the show. It's really funny. I really enjoy watching it. I like the actors in it, the characters and the storylines they do, and it's just a pretty fun show. It's also got an interesting dynamic in that it's sort of the entire show, the entire series is set almost as a flashback, and so that lets them sort of play around with interweaving storylines that happen at different times and all that. But it's definitely just a really fun show, and it's goofy and silly, and I think it's a lot of fun. The next one I want to talk about is Futurama. This is made by the same guy who actually did The Simpsons, although I generally have enjoyed the Futurama more than The Simpsons. But it's got the same kind of sort of silly, sort of goofy humor that like The Simpsons and also Family Guy has, but Futurama has even more references to like nerdiness and smart things and stuff like that. Matt Groening is known for slipping a lot of Easter eggs into his shows. The Simpsons did it a whole lot, and Futurama does it too, where, you know, sometimes if they're, you know, trying to figure out some complex mathematical formula to solve something, they'll be like working on a whiteboard sillily as sort of a gag, but a lot of times that actual formula is a real math formula. In fact, I think on The Simpsons, it might have been Futurama though actually, I think it maybe was Futurama, but they actually used a real mathematical theorem that had been a long time without being proven, and they actually worked it out with the show, or at least referenced it in the show. I can't quite remember. The point is, it's got a lot of like more sci-fi, nerdy, dorky things mixed into it, and I just think it's really fun and a great time. And lastly, the one I want to talk about is Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec is one of the same people who make The Office, and a lot of times it definitely feels like a companion show. It's very similar in its humor, and it's very similar in its style as well. It also is one that you have to get through the first few episodes for before they really hit their stride and get enjoyable. So I think that's about all I have time for, Brian. Have you watched any of these shows? What do you think about them? What are your opinions on them? And are there any that you haven't seen that you want to check out after this? What are some of the shows you like? I'd love to hear about it. I look forward to seeing your video tomorrow, and have a good night.